and welcome. My name's Sam and this is the Little Greenhouse Creates. Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for joining me on a Technique Tuesday. So this is going to be a slightly different technique. This is something to do with designer series paper and how to create a box of cards or gift cards. So this one I've got here is a box of thank you cards. I have used the designer series paper from the Pansy Patch set, and I've created this lovely group of cards. There we go. So we've got, let me put them out so you can see them. Now this technique today is ideal if you're going to give them away as a gift to somebody, and it's just a way of using your designer series paper but making it work for you. So these are my 6 cards, should I say, using the, as I say, the designer series paper. So let me bring it in, detail the bits and bobs, and I can show you what the heck I am waffling on about. Okay, so today we are going to be using the Pansy Patch stamp set with the pansy dies, which is these ones here. I have a piece of scrap white to make my pansies with. I have a scrap piece of evening evergreen to create the leaves with. I have now what you will need is you'll need 6 of these. They each measure 3 inches by 4. Okay, so 6 of those will be needed. Then you'll need 6 pieces of cardstock, and they will measure 3 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay, I've got a bit of scrap here in case I need it. And what I've done is I've opened up my designer series paper and I've taken 1 sheet of each design out of the pack, and they all come like this, 12 by 12. And what I did was making sure that the orientation of my paper was the correct way, so that when I can cut out strips, so I'm cutting out 4-inch strips of designer series paper. So this is 4 by 12. Okay, and you can get 3 strips from 1 piece of paper should you wish to. So I've got that one, and there's that one. I particularly love this designer series paper on this one. I'm liking the soft sea foam on here. And these ones, now if you don't use this paper as a pack, these actually fit the frame that comes with the dies, like so, and you can cut those out and use them should you wish to. So that's an added bonus. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut this piece for you now with my cutter. So I know I want the paper to go this way. The other thing I'm going to check is that when I cut the paper, if the paper doesn't have a direction on the side I'm going to use, I want to make sure that it doesn't have, or does have, a direction on the paper on the other side, because when you fold it over, this is going to be the inside of the card, so you'd actually want it to be directionally correct. So as it doesn't matter too much with this one, so I'm going to slide this into 4 inches like so, and then I'm going to just cut it down. So as you can see, I then have, if I want to, enough paper here to make 2 more sets, or there's plenty of paper here to create other different cards. Right, so this is my piece of card. I'm going to put it into the 6-inch mark, turn it over, and then I'm going to score it with my score blade. Now, should you wish to, you can also have the option of just taking your piece of paper, making sure that the ends match down here, holding it into place, and then just burnishing it with your burn folder like so. So you have 2 options. Okay, so I'm going to do most of the work on this one, and you'll see how to create all the others. So the other pieces I have now are this piece, which as I say is 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and this is going to become your inside layer like so. So I'm going to work on this bit first, and instead of making thank you cards today, I'm going to make a happy birthday. So I have got the smaller versions of the pansies for inside my card, and I have the happy birthday from the stamp set. Now I have to make a confession straight away before I start. There is a tiny little stamp. Let me show it to you. It's just that little bit there. Now when I was creating the previous pack I've just shown you, somehow I've mislaid it. I've had the entire house apart, cannot find it. I'm sure it'll turn up at some stage, but I am a little bit cheesed off that I've lost that tiny piece. But I have got a way of working around that, so bear with me. So I'm going to use the soft succulent and the soft sea foam for my inside pansy, and I'm also going to use a tiny piece of the evening evergreen. So I'm just going to push these ones aside because this is for the bigger ones. So let's put those into place now. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to use the outlining section, and I am going to use this in the darker colour. So this is going to be the soft succulent. I'm just going to stamp that down in the bottom right hand corner. Now obviously, as I'm making 6 cards, I'd stamp all 6 cards with this stamp first of all. I'm just going to clean that. So I'm going to bring in my chamois, give it a quick squirt with my Stamp and Mist, and then I can just clean that stamp. Now I'm going to use the soft sea foam, and again I would work my way around all 6 cards. Just going to stamp that over the top like so. Hopefully you can see it's looking quite nice there. Close that up. Again, just clean that down. Then I'm going to bring in the inside or the middle section of the pansy, and I'm going to stamp that in the evening evergreen. Tap that, and then just hover over the top and place down. There you go. Cleaning that, and I can put that aside. Now as you can see, well hopefully you can see, there is a tiny piece of white here that would normally get filled in by the little stamp I've lost. However, I've got my Stamp and Write marker, and I'm going to just do a triangle shape because that's the shape of the actual stamp I've lost, and pop it there. Okay, so hopefully nobody would be the wiser. Well, that's my theory anyway. So I'm going to take the happy birthday from the stamp set, and I'm going to stamp it in the soft succulent. Tap that and then pop that down, and so I've got the happy birthday all made up. So now I've done in all 6 cards, I'm now going to put those inside my card base. So on this occasion I'm going to use the Stamp and Seal Plus. I'm just going to run it along the top like so. And then I'm just going to place that in there. Perfect. And then all 6 cards will have their layer inside, and then just this DSP on the top. Okay, so the next thing to do is to take our 1 inch by 4 inches, and I'm taking the happy birthday sentiment from the, she says, Sweet Ice Cream stamp set, because it's quite big and I think it'll look really good. what I'm going to do is I'm going to ink it up in the Evening Evergreen, and I'm going to move it right over to the right hand side as far as I can go. Stamp that, and as I say, move it right over to the right hand side. So we've got a nice little gap here, and that's where our pansy will sit. One more time, just wipe that down. Perfect. Okay, so now it's time to create our actual pansy. And I have I'm going to use the Calypso Coral, the Pale Papaya, and then the Soft Succulent and the Evening Evergreen for my pansy this time around. So I'm just going to put this Happy Birthday aside. So once again, using the dark colour, I'm going for Calypso Coral. I'm going to stamp that out. And obviously, if we're making 6 of them, it would make sense to stamp all 6 out at the same time. Of course, you're not limited to just using, one sheet. You could do, if you felt like it, using, with each pack you get 2 sheets of the same paper. So you could cut the same 2 pieces of cut paper up, and so you get 6 cards and make one of those if you so desired, rather than doing, a third of each of the sheets. Okay, so now I'm going to go over with the Pale Papaya. Now this layers quite nicely. Over the top. So again, you would do that with all 6 of your pansies. Apparently I can't wash my stamps and think at the same time. I do apologise about that. Okay, so this is the Evening Evergreen and this is the Soft Succulent. So with the Soft Succulent, I'm going to use the large infill, and it fits just in the middle. Let's move it up a bit so you can see it. Just fits in this section here. So again, just hover it over, place to when you're happy, and then you have the infill there. Try and make sure that all my ink pads are closed when I'm not using them, as I find that I either put my finger or my fist or something in and then end up with ink everywhere. Okay, so this is the Evening Evergreen, and this is a slightly smaller one, and it will go into here and down. There we go. Once more, I have this tiny little hole where that little diamond shape would have gone. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Right marker, and I'm just going to make a triangle shape in the middle like so. Okay. So once I've done all 6 of those, I'm going to layer up my pansies with the dies. I'm going to go run those through the die cutting machine, and I'm also going to take this particular leaf with my Evening Evergreen and run that through 6 times as well. So I can put those aside, and then they'll come back looking like so. Now, taking my pointy tool and my glue dots, I'm just going to take one glue dot and I'm going to put it on the base, middle of the base of the leaf. You see there? Which then means that picking up my pansy, and I can just place it wherever I so desire it to go, and then I'm quite happy. It's also quite effective to do that when you're trying to do 6 rather than just 1. I'm now going to add my dimensionals. So I'm going to put 1 dimensional on my leaf. Okay, and then I'm going to put one dimensional here, but nowhere else. The reason being is when it sits on the sentiment will be risen as well with dimensionals, so those bits that are going to rest on here don't need to be lifted. Okay, so it'll be like that. Okay, so now we can attach our happy birthday. So again, 3 dimensionals along the bottom. Let's use these ones. We've got one there, one in the middle, and the end. So really the technique today is that if you're going to make the same card more than once, then do each component together. So you have 6, in this particular we have 6 sentiments, 6 pansies, 6 inside layers, and so on, and then build everything together. I've tried it other ways, and I find by doing it this way it actually doesn't take that long once you've prepared everything. Okay, so now it can now sit onto there, and we have our card created. So if I quickly bring in the other ones that I have already done, so we now got all of these pretty ones, and somebody somewhere will receive a nice box of cards made from the DSP, and literally because of this it just makes the DSP speak for itself. Now I'm going to put mine into a acetate C6 acetate card box. There's 10 in a pack, and you just literally pull it out, it comes in flat, and you just pop your hand in, and then you can manipulate the plastic as best you can, because for some reason on camera again it's not going to work. Push the sides in, bend these two, and that will create my shape of my box. Okay, now when I'm putting these in, because I've got these bulky bits here, what I like to do is I like to say, right, I'm going to have 3 facing that way. So I'm going to pop those 3 in, and then I will take these and I will have 3, but instead of having them in like that, I will turn them, and then they will fit inside the box that way. So the box shows you happy birthday that way and happy birthday that way. So they're all side. And then what I do is I would put the envelopes in between the 2 sections of the different directional cards. So there you go. That is a technique for multi-creating box cards. So I hope you enjoyed that. Quite quick. As I say, once you've cut it all up, it just takes about 10-15 minutes to put all 6 cards together. And works for me as a beautiful gift for somebody. So thank you ever so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed that. Back again tomorrow at the normal time of 10 o'clock. So please, if you're free, do pop in. Leave any comments. Obviously it's a video, not live, so I won't be able to respond straight away, but I will promise you I will come back to you as soon as I possibly can. So whatever you do for the rest of the day, stay safe, enjoy your crafting, and lots of love. Take care everybody. Bye.